I killed the woman who stole my life before she could steal my family's home. Not with a gun or a knife. Those are too merciful for monsters like Evelyn Hart, but with her own poisoned ambition. Fed back to her drop by drop until she choked on the lies she'd sown. And the worst part? When I looked in the mirror that first morning after the swap, it wasn't horror that stared back at me. It was hunger. A ravenous, righteous fury that tasted like the sweetest revenge I never dreamed I could afford. My name is Sage Rivera, and up until 3 weeks ago, I was just another ghost haunting the edges of Chicago's South Side.
28.
Scraping by as a freelance graphic designer in a city that chews up dreamers and spits out the bones. My family, Mom,
Dad,
and my kid sister Lena, huddled in a crumbling 2-bedroom rental on 47th Street. The kind of place where the walls weep mold and the heat kicks on like it's doing you a personal favor. We'd been there 12 years. Ever since Dad lost his steel mill job in the '08 crash. Rent was our lifeline.
thin as it was.
Until Evelyn Hart decided it wasn't enough. Evelyn.
God.
Even her name slithers off the tongue like oil on water. She wasn't just a landlord, she was a predator in pearls. CEO of Hart Properties. A real estate empire built on the backs of folks like us. Forbes called her the Iron Widow after her husband offed himself in a penthouse suite, officially a heart attack. But whispers said it was the weight of her schemes that crushed him. She owned half the blocks from Bronzeville to Pilsen, flipping low-income units into soulless condos faster than you could say gentrification. And us, we were collateral. A glitch in her spreadsheet. A family too stubborn to pack up and vanish into the suburbs. It started with a letter, crisp and corporate, slipped under our door like a death warrant. Notice of non-renewal, effective December 1st. No reason given. Just the cold math of it. Our building was next on her demolition docket for some glass monstrosity called Harbor Lofts. Mom cried that night, her hands twisting the hem of her apron like she could wring hope from the fabric. Dad stared at the TV, some Bears game flickering ignored, his jaw set in that quiet defeat I'd hated since I was a kid. Lena, 16 and all fire, slammed her fist on the table. We're not going anywhere.
Sage.
This is our home. I believed her.
Or I wanted to.
But belief doesn't pay lawyers or move mountains. I spent the next 2 weeks in a frenzy, petitions, city council emails, even a viral TikTok begging for tenants' rights influencers to swoop in. Nothing. Evelyn's machine was too greased. Her donations to aldermen too fat. By week 3, the eviction hearing loomed like a guillotine, and I was the one holding the basket. That's when I met the stranger. Or thought I did. It was a Tuesday, gray as gunmetal, and I was trudging home from a dead-end client meeting, sketchpad under my arm, dodging puddles that smelled like regret. The alley behind our block was a shortcut, lined with chain-link fences and overflowing dumpsters, a graveyard for forgotten things. That's where I saw her, crouched by a chain-link fence, her hands buried in a patch of dirt that shouldn't have been there. A garden, if you could call it that. 3 square feet of stubborn green fighting the concrete. Tomatoes gone leggy and basil choked by dandelions. She was maybe 60, wiry and weathered, in a threadbare cardigan that hung off her like a shroud. No one I'd seen before, but her eyes, sharp, haunted, locked on mine as I passed. "Help me," she rasped. Not a plea, but a command. Her voice cut through the drizzle like broken glass. "It's dying. All of it. I should have kept walking." Strangers in alleys don't get saviors in this city. But something in her face, the raw, unfiltered ache, mirrored my own. I knelt, mud seeping into my jeans. "What's killing it?" she laughed. A dry hack that echoed off the bricks. "Neglect. Poison in the soil. Same as always." Her fingers brushed mine as she handed me a trowel, rusted and cold. We worked in silence, pulling weeds, mulching with scavenged leaves. She talked in fragments. Name was Mira, immigrant from some war-torn corner of Eastern Europe. Lost her plot when the city rezoned. This scrap was all she had left, a ritual against forgetting. By the time the rain picked up, we'd saved what we could. Mira pressed a small vial into my palm, clear liquid, no label.
"For the roots," she said.
"Or whatever needs reviving." Her grip lingered, eyes boring into me. "Be careful what you water."
"Girl."
"Some seeds grow thorns." I pocketed it, mumbled thanks, and bolted home. Forgot about her by morning. Until the accident. The hearing was at Cook County Courthouse, a monolithic beast of marble and bureaucracy. I arrived early, nerves frayed, clutching our lease like a shield. Evelyn's lawyer was already there, a slick suit named Harlan with a smile like a shark's. No sign of her. Queens don't slum it with the peasants. But as the clerk called our case, I felt it, a prickle at the base of my skull, like static before a storm. Then the world tilted. A flash, not light, but absence. A void swallowing sound. My vision blurred, body gone weightless, then heavy.
"Wrong."
I gasped, but the voice wasn't mine. Deeper, smoother, laced with that South Side drawl I'd faked in high school theater. The courtroom spun back into focus, but I was across the aisle, in a tailored blazer, pearls cold against her throat. Evelyn Hart's throat. Panic clawed up. I looked down, manicured nails,
Silk blouse.
legs crossed in Louboutins. And there, opposite me, was my body, faded hoodie, wild curls, eyes wide with the same terror I felt. But wearing it, Evelyn. Her mind in my skin, fumbling with papers, whispering to Harlan. It was impossible. A hallucination from stress. Or that vial I'd chugged like bad coffee on the L ride over, thinking it was electrolytes. Not elixir. But the swap held. Bodies traded. Souls pinned like butterflies to corkboard. The judge droned on, oblivious. MS. Hart. Your response to the tenant's appeal? My mouth moved before my brain caught up. Your Honor, I said in her voice, smooth as bourbon. These tenants have violated code. Structural risks. Eviction stands. The words tasted like ash. But they flowed her muscle memory. Her venom. Across the room, my body stammered. This is our home. We've paid every month. Evelyn's eyes in my face gleamed with calculation. She was playing it, drawing it out for the drama. I signed the order. My family's doom. Inked by my hand, her hand. The gavel fell.
Done.
That night, in her Gold Coast penthouse, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking a Lake Michigan that mocked my drowning, I shattered. Mirrors everywhere, reflecting the thief who'd stolen my shell. Evelyn Hart, 52. Porcelain skin stretched over cheekbones like switchblades, hair a silver chignon that screamed old money. I'd seen her photos, hated her from afar. Now I was her. And she was me, loose in my world, Probably toasting with mom over discount wine. The vial. Mira. It had to be. Some folk remedy gone quantum. Or black market tech from those shady clinics in Wicker Park peddling consciousness resets for the elite. Didn't matter. What mattered was the power humming in my veins, her veins. Bank accounts fat as whales. Rolodex of politicians. A company that bent the city to her whim. For the first time, I could fight back. Not beg.
Fight.
But revenge isn't a light switch. It's a slow burn. I started small, accessing her emails from the glass desk that cost more than our yearly rent. Hart Properties' underbelly unspooled like a bad dream. Bribes to inspectors. Forged liens on immigrant families. A slush fund for relocation incentives that were really hush money. And there, buried in an encrypted folder labeled contingencies, my name. Sage Rivera. The betrayal hit like a freight train. 10 years ago, when I was 18, fresh out of high school and cocky with community college dreams, I'd interned at a small design firm downtown. One project, logos for Hart's first big flip, a warehouse turned lofts in Logan Square. I caught the discrepancy, off-books payments to a city planner, funneled through shell accounts. Naive kid. I reported it anonymously. Tip line. No traces. Wrong move. Evelyn didn't just bury it, she weaponized it. Planted evidence that the leak came from inside, my IP address spoofed. My prints on dummy docs. Cops raided our apartment. Dad's old union ties flagged him as a person of interest in some fabricated embezzlement. He took the fall to shield me, confessed to a lesser charge. Forgery. Got 3 years in Stateville. Lost his pension. His health. Came home a husk. Lungs scarred from the damp cells. Mom's bakery folded under the legal bills. Lena grew up resenting the sister who'd ruined them. All because Evelyn needed a scapegoat.
Me.
I'd borne her crime, carried it like a tumor, while she rose higher, untouchable. The secret she'd chiseled into our lives. Our eviction now. Retaliation. I'd gone viral last month with that TikTok. My face too familiar. She recognized the intern who'd nicked her once. Time to erase the Riveras for good. Rage crystallized. I wouldn't just save our home. I'd burn hers down. First target, Harlan. Her attack dog. The lawyer who'd grinned through our hearing. I invited him to the penthouse that Friday. Urgent merger docs. Poured scotch from her decanter. Watched him loosen his tie. Evelyn. You look different. Stressed. I leaned in. Her perfume, jasmine and steel, cloying. Harlan. Darling. We've got a problem. That Rivera girl? She's digging. Old files. His eyes narrowed, but he sipped, trusting. I slipped the truth serum, not Myra's vial, but a designer cocktail from her medicine cabinet, laced with scopolamine. Pharma perks of the 1%. He babbled for hours. The slush fund details, offshore accounts, even the suicide of her husband, pushed. After he threatened divorce over her creative accounting. By dawn, he was a vegetable, drooling confessions into my phone's recorder. I called it in as an overdose, tragic, accidental. Cops bought it. Her name opened doors. Harlan's firm imploded overnight. Clients fleeing like rats. Evelyn's first domino. But she was fighting back. In my body, she played the victim flawlessly. Texts from me to mom. Landlord backed off some glitch. We're safe.
Lies.
She was buying time, probing for weaknesses. I saw it in the security cams I'd hacked her in my apartment, rifling drawers. Charming dad with stories of corporate sympathy. Lena hated it. Sensed the offness. Sage. Why are you wearing lipstick? And that laugh. It's creepy. I had to move faster. Next, the garden. Myra's words echoed. Poison in the soil. Evelyn's empire was built on rot, literal and figurative. Digging through her files, I found it. The Dying Garden Project. Not metaphor. A community plot in Englewood. Her philanthropy facade. She'd donated land, then laced the soil with industrial runoff, cheap cleanup dodge for a contaminated site. Tenants got sick, cancers, miscarriages, blamed on urban decay. She'd buried the reports, evicted the witnesses. The garden was dying.
All right.
And Mira? Not a stranger. Grainy photo in the file. Mira Voss. Led plaintiff in a buried lawsuit. Evelyn's first kill. Figuratively. The vial? Payback from a witchy network of the displaced. I went there at midnight. Evelyn's Tesla purring like a panther. The plot was a wasteland, zucchini rotted on vines. Kids' murals faded on the fence. But under moonlight, I knelt, just like Mira had taught. Hands, hers, in the dirt, I poured the vial's remnants. Not poison. Antidote. Roots stirred. A whisper of green defiance. By morning, volunteers swarmed, tipped off by anonymous emails from her server. News vans rolled up. Heart heiress saves blighted garden. Spin I controlled. Her image burnished. But the soil tests I'd planted? They'd bloom toxic truths soon enough. Evelyn texted from my phone. What the hell are you doing? Stop this now. I replied in her voice. From her account. Saving what's mine. Your move. The war escalated. She struck back viciously, had me arrested for petty theft at a bodega. Fingerprints faked via her connections. Mom bailed me, her out. Tears streaming.
Sage.
What's happening to you? Dad's health crashed. Hospital bills piled. Lena called. Voice breaking. Sis. You're scaring me. Come home. Guilt gnawed. But I pressed on. Controversial choices loomed. Do I expose everything? Tank her stock? Crash the economy for thousands of jobs? Or targeted strikes, ruin her personally? Let the empire limp? I chose the abyss. Hacked her foundation gala live stream. Cued a video, Harlan's confession. Overlaid with her face deep faking the orders. Evelyn Hart, evictor of dreams. It aired live. Mid-toast. Champagne flute shattered. Stock plunged 40%. Protests erupted outside Hart Tower. Tenants. Gardeners. Ghosts of her past. She went dark, burrowing in my life like a parasite. I cornered her at the hospital, where Dad lay wheezing. Slipped in as visiting exec, badge forged. My body, her in it, hunched by his bed, feigning concern. Lena in the hall, scrolling her phone, oblivious. Evelyn, I whispered, her voice a hiss. She froze.
Turned.
My face, twisted in rage. You bitch, she spat.
Low.
Give it back. This isn't you. I smiled, her lips curling cruel.
Oh.
But it is. 10 years you made me carry your sin. Dad's cough. Your lead paint cover-up. Mom's breakdowns? Your liens. We're done paying. Her eyes, My eyes flashed cunning. You think you're better? In my skin, you're nothing. A fraud in heels. We grappled, whispers turning to shoves. Lena burst in. Sage? What? Twist of fate. The vial's echo. Or sheer will. Contact sparked, the same void. Swap reversed in a heartbeat. I blinked back into myself, slumped against the wall. Evelyn, in her body, staggered. Pearls askew. But she adapted fast. Grabbed the four-stand,
Swung.
nurses rushed.
Chaos.
Dad's monitors wailed. In the melee, she fled. I chased, Lena screaming behind. Down corridors slick with fear. Out into the ER bay, where ambulances idled like beasts. She cornered me by the fence, the hospital's healing garden, ironic weeds mocking us. Rain lashed. Thunder American as a bad debt. You can't win, she gasped. Her voice her own again. Ragged. I own this city. I lunged, not for blood, but truth.
Confess.
Or I leak it all. Your garden dies for good. Her laugh cracked. Garden? That ragtag plot? It's nothing. It's everything, I said. Myra's ghost between us. The roots you poisoned. She lunged first, nails raking. Pearl necklace snapping like gunfire. We tumbled into mud. Her skirt hiked. My hoodie sodden. Fists flew. Not elegant, but primal. Controversial? Hell yes, assaulting a titan in public. Cameras catching flashes. But I didn't care. This was for the family she'd fractured. She pinned me, breath hot. You took my life. I'll bury yours. Then the twist, the real knife. Sirens wailed, but not for us. Cops swarmed, badges glinting. Harlan's successor, bought and paid. MS. Hart, we got a tip, threats, trespass. She smirked down at me. Arrest her. The intern. She's unhinged. Lena shoved through. Sage. Mom's here. Dad's crashing. The world fractured. I fought, but cuffs bit cold. Evelyn rose. Muddied but majestic. The victor. Jail smelled like despair marinated in bleach. Stateville's shadow all over again. They threw me in holding. A concrete box with a bench that doubled as a confessional for the damned. My knuckles throbbed from the garden scuffle. Evelyn's scratches like badges of war on my arms. Lena's face haunted me through the booking glass. Pale. Pleading. This isn't you.
Sage.
Fight it. But who was I fighting? The woman who'd worn my skin like a trophy. Or the system she'd rigged long before our paths crossed. Interrogation was a circus of bad coffee and worse lies. Detective Ruiz. A burnout with a mustache like a broom bristle. Slid photos across the table, gala footage. Deepfake or not. Timestamped with my IP. Hers. Spoofed again. Harassment. MS. Rivera.
Corporate espionage.
Hart's pressing charges. You got a grudge. Grudge? It was a goddamn ledger of blood debts. But I lawyered up, silent as stone. Inside, plans churned. The swap had left echoes, flashes of her memories bleeding into mine. Safe codes, server backdoors, even the passcode to her private jet hangar. Tools for a heist on her throne. Bail came courtesy of a GoFundMe Lena scraped together. Viral from the protest clips. Mom met me at the gate. Her hug bone-thin. Your father's stable.
Mia.
But the doctors. Bills are mounting. Evelyn's doing, no doubt, delayed treatments, administrative holds on insurance claims. We drove home in silence, the owl rattling overhead like accusatory laughter. The apartment felt violated. Drawers askew. Fridge stocked with her tastes. Kale smoothies. Artisanal cheese. She'd nested. Left notes in my handwriting. Love you. Family. We'll beat this. Lies layered like varnish over rot. That night, insomnia's grip tightened. I slipped out. Uber to a 24-hour FedEx in Little Village. From a burner laptop, bought with cash from my last design gig, I uploaded the motherlode. Not just Harlan's tape, but the garden soil reports, Dad's framed indictment, her forgery exposed via metadata, and a manifesto in her voice. I, Evelyn Hart, confess to systemic fraud. The Riveras were my first victims. There will be more unless I stop. Scheduled drip feed to WikiLeaks, ProPublica, the Sun-Times. By dawn, her empire would crack like eggshell. But Evelyn was steps ahead, always the chess master. My phone buzzed at 4 a.m., unknown number. Her voice, distorted, clever girl. But leaks can be plugged. Your father's chart? Altered. Cause of death pending. Overdose on visiting gifts. Chocolate from the caring daughter. Ice in my veins. She'd poisoned him, subtle. Deniable. The same slow toxin she'd used on competitors. Traced to natural causes in autopsies.
Dad.
Wheezing on his cot. Was collateral in her endgame. I raced to the hospital, bursting into his room as machines beeped erratic. Mom dozed in the chair. Lena pacing. Sage, she started, but I waved her off. Checking the trash, wrapper from Godiva. Her brand. He's been poisoned, I hissed. We need talk screens.
Now.
Nurses scoffed, protocol. But Lena, fierce as ever, live-streamed the accusation, save Dad Rivera. Views spiked. Comments flooding. Hard again? Follow the money. By noon, a rogue doc slipped the samples to a lab, pro bono from the viral wave. Evelyn retaliated in the press. An end panel. Tragic escalation. MS. Rivera's instability endangers innocence. Her face. Composed. Pearls reset. She played the widow. The mogul under siege by entitled radicals. Stock rebounded 15%. Investors circling like vultures scenting blood. Not hers.
Ours.
The controversy raged. Pundits debated, was I vigilante or villain? Gentrification's dark side, liberals cried. Anarchist thuggery, conservatives spat. Protests swelled, Hart Tower graffiti. Evict the evictor. But counter-rallies formed. Jobs over justice. Blue-collar folks she'd saved with her flips. I dove deeper into her psyche. Chasing the swaps after images. Nightmares blended. Her childhood in a Gary trailer park. Clawing to escape Rust Belt rot. First deal. Bribing a zoning board with her body's favors. Husband's suicide. His note unread. Her relief palpable. Power wasn't armor, it was addiction. And addicts crack under withdrawal. Clue. The dying garden. Myra's plot wasn't random. Evelyn's file hit a scan. MRI from a 90s clinic. Experimental neural mapping. Body autonomy initiative. Black budget psych ops from Reagan-era spooks. She'd volunteered. Chasing immortality hacks. The vial? Residual serum. Mira the lab rat who'd escaped, brewing counteragents in exile.
Our swap?
No accident. She dosed the courthouse water cooler, targeted me after spotting my face online. Not just eviction, erasure. Where my life, learn my weaknesses, dismantle from inside. Twist deepened. Dad's fall? Not her frame alone. He'd known. Union rep back in the day. He'd tipped her early on a rival's weakness for a cut to fund Mom's bakery. Small betrayal, but it snowballed. When I snitched on her fraud, he confessed to shield the family secret, his complicity. He'd borne her mistake too. In a way, our poverty's root. Betrayal doubled, knife twisted. My own blood, complicit in the cage. I confronted him. Post-detox. Room sterile. His eyes milky but sharp. Sage. I did it for us. She promised it'd end clean. Clean? I laughed. Bitter.
Dad.
She poisoned you for it. He wheezed, hand frail on mine. Then end it. For real. Decision loomed. Controversial as sin mercy kill?
No.
Leverage. I recorded his deathbed truth, weak voice naming names. Dates. Her payoffs. Uploaded snippet to the drip. Even victims sell out. Fallout. Dad stabilized. Scandal humanized us. Evelyn's board revolted. Internal audit demanded. She holed up in a safe house. Hampton's hideaway. But I had the jet code. Flew commercial. Then rental, beater Chevy.
Cash.
Arrived at dusk. Storm brewing over the Atlantic like divine wrath. Her compound, glass walls, infinity pool mocking the sea. Security waved me through, her face on the manifest. Swap echo granting access. Inside, she lounged in silk, scotch in hand, TV muted on her plummeting net worth. Sage, she purred. No surprise. Come to gloat. I stood, dripping rain.
Come to trade.
Your serum stash, reverse this. And confess. She circled. Predator grace. Reverse?
Why?
This body's young. Vital. Yours? A vessel for my ascent.
Lies.
Flashes showed her terror, the swap's instability. Neural decay setting in. Headaches. Blackouts.
She needed out as bad as me.
Negotiation turned tango. Offers.
Threats.
I'll get your company, I said. Leave you penniless in my skin. She countered. I'll frame you for my husband's murder. Prince match, yours now. Stalemate shattered by sirens, feds. Tipped by the leaks. Raid imminent. We barricaded, her arsenal of wine and wits. As choppers thumped overhead, she cracked, the garden. Myra's antidote. Buried there, under the basil. Truth half spilled, the project wasn't just tech. Occult edge, psychic entanglements. Souls bartered like stocks. She'd swapped before. Test runs on the homeless. Mira survived. Vowed vengeance. The vial. Passed down.
Chose me a conduit.
But the deeper twist, I wasn't innocent. In her memories, my anonymous tip, traced to a boyfriend, junkie hacker she'd paid off. I'd known. Buried it for love. My crime, born silently, betrayed my own ethics. Let Dad twist for it. We were mirrors, weeds in poison soil. Feds breached. I shoved her toward the pool house. Go. Confess later. Controversial mercy? Or ploy? She fled, but not before slipping a dose. Half vial. Unstable. Finish it yourself. Cops cuffed me amid the opulence. Rivera, you're done. Lena's call pierced the chaos. Sage. The garden, it's blooming.
And Dad.
He's asking for you. Extradition to Chicago was a red-eye flight in zip ties. Headline screaming, Heart heiress nabbed. Rivera ringmaster? Evelyn vanished into the ether. Private jet to Cayman. Whispers of plastic surgery and new aliases. Her empire teetered. Board ousted her. Assets frozen pending probes. Protests morphed to policy pushes. Tenant bills in Springfield. Garden grants for food deserts. My face. Muddied hero or reckless rogue. Plastered everywhere. Debates raged in bars and X-threads. Justice or jihad. Had I saved the city or scorched it? Jail time loomed. RICO charges. Conspiracy rap. But Dad's tape. Leaked full. Flipped the script. Sun-Times expose. The Widow's Web. How one family unraveled an empire. Feds pivoted. Plea deals whispered. I walked after 72 hours. Conditions, testify. Community service in. The garden. Homecoming was fractured glass. Mom baked empanadas. Overfilled with love and grief.
Dad.
Propped in his recliner. Gripped my hand. You did what I couldn't.
Kid.
Finished the rot. Lena hugged fierce. Whispering, You're back. For real. The swap's residue lingered, ticks. Her cadence slipping into my laugh. Mirrors lied sometimes, showing silver hair in my curls. But the garden called. Englewood plot. Now a beacon. Tomatoes heavy. Basil lush under volunteer hands. I knelt there first day of service. Trowel and grip. Soil cool and forgiving. Kids from the block watched. Wary then warm. You the one who saved it? A boy asked. Gap-toothed. Saved?
Nah.
Just helped it fight. Mira appeared at twilight. Shadow by the fence. Not ghost flesh. Eyes like embers. The roots hold.
Sage.
But thorns remain. She handed soil, loose.
Rich.
For planting new. Evelyn's trail went cold, but echoes pursued. A month post-raid. Package arrived, unmarked. Postmarked Nassau. Inside, pearls, snapped strand, and a note in her script. Wear them. They suit the victor. But remember, gardens die without sun. Yours blocks mine. Enclosed, full serum vial. Labeled reversal. Or evolution. Choice. Swap back if she surfaced. Or burn it. Seal the fracture. Controversy peaked with the trial, hers. In absentia. I testified. Voice steady, her frauds. The swaps. Dad's complicity aired raw. Courtroom gasped at the sci-fi twist. Experts debunked as PSYOP's relic. But doubt seated. Verdict. Guilty. Empire seized for reparations. Families like ours got deeds. Our building. Now a co-op. Rent-free for life. But the twist inverted everything. Post-verdict. FBI debrief. Mira wasn't victim. Double agent. Ex-CIA. Running the neural program underground. The vile? Bait to expose Evelyn. Me the unwitting pawn. You were chosen. MS. Rivera. Your viral plea matched the profile. Resilient. Rooted. Betrayal tripled. I'd borne not just her crime, but a shadow ops mistake, test subject in a war on white-collar ghosts. Dad knew peripherally. His union ties feeding intel. Lena? She'd filmed the unhinged clips at Myra's nudge, amplifying the chaos. Rage recycled into resolve. I confronted Mira at the garden. Dawn mist cloaking us. You used me. All of it. She shrugged. Ancient and unyielding. Used or awakened? Evelyn's poison spread because no one pruned. You did. We planted then new seeds. Hybrid thorns. No more secrets buried. Evelyn resurfaced 6 months later. Not as foe, but specter. Tabloid photo. Her in a Baja cantina. Face altered. Arm linked with a silver-haired woman. Me? No. Clone echo. Or deepfake taunt. Note enclosed in the mail. The garden thrives. Share the harvest?
E.
I burned the vial that night. Ashes to the wind off our balcony. View now of the co-op we'd bloomed into. Lena aced her G. Interning at a design firm. Mine. Rebranded. Mom's bakery revived. Empanadas sold at the garden market. Dad breathed easier. Stories swapped over coffee. No more ghosts. Ending? Debatable as a rigged election. Happy for us. Roots reclaimed. Empire's fall a cautionary blaze. Tragic for the collateral. The souls she'd swapped and discarded. Echoes haunting alleys. Me? I walk her line now. Power's edge. Controversial decisions define. Evict mercy. Or water the thorns. Last hook. I wear the pearls sometimes. To galas for tenants' rights. Her venom turned talisman. But in quiet. Digging dirt. I wonder, did I save the stranger's garden? Or become the weed that overgrew it all? The city hums on. Tense and unyielding. Chicago don't forgive. But it remembers. And so do I.